Week number 3, Golden T-Mobile World Championship qualifying head-to-head match play continues. Booyer against Shankopotamus. Scott Booyer against Will Davis. Scott Booyer, one of the premier live head-to-head match play players, will try to knock out Shankopotamus online today. And there is one Will Davis, Shankopotamus, down the hill here on Woodland Farm. Hi, everyone. I am Chad Schrump. Glad to be with you today, trying to see who our third qualifier is going to be. Will it be this man, Scott Booyer? This is a guy you do not want to play heads up in a live tournament setting. He is gnarly. Shankopotamus, also gnarly. Stinger, good! Off the bat, Will Davis pulls out Woodland Farm number 1. A Stinger javelin. Just carries onto that green, cuts out that wind, and he is up one early. And Booyer does not answer. Will not get GSP. That fades to the right. That is an easy putt for Mr. Booyer. But Will Davis, Shankopotamus, an early one-stroke lead. This is Woodland Farm, however. And these are some crazy back-and-forth holes that are excellent for match play. Some serious swing holes will be in store for us, especially when we get to the back 9. Could be a bloodbath. It could be an excellent display of Golden T-Mobile. You truly, literally never know with this course. Here is Scott. This looks fantastic. Oh, and it hops the hole. A little too much gumption, and that goes into the back trap. Can Will Davis answer? Already up 1. This will bounce to the right, and that will end up short, but he will get great shot points, although they will not decide this match. Great shot points are very sexy, kind of like your announcer, but they are not used to determine any kind of a tie-break system here in the Mobile World Championships. We will go to a sudden death back 9 to determine it. Here is Scott, and he misses this one. Scott will take his medicine, goes long here on hole number 2. What I thought might be a hole out turned into a par. A 2-stroke swing cost Scott Booyer. He goes down by 2 very early, though, here on Woodland. Here is Shank, and he will put a Maniacs on this top shelf and drives this par 3. This is a long go at it. Scott's going to throw a javelin at it. Clears the trap. Runs towards that hole. Does he get GSP? No. Here's Shank. His putt is good, and that's a birdie on 3. Scott Booyer will knock this in. And we're going to move to hole number 4. Hole 4 is a good look at it. Under the bridge, but that golf cart right in the way. That golf cart's right in the way. You can't really go after this one like you'd want to. Here Scott will bounce it off of the wood-planked cart path under the bridge to the hole and in, and both players will eagle the drivable par 4. And we move on to a long par 5. What kind of setup? This is not bad. A matter of fact, I don't know that you can get a much better setup on this hole, although Shankopotamus has made this a little longer than maybe he needed to. I don't know. This is how he likes to play it. Here's Scott. He will go more center of the fairway. That will climb some. And he will be, is he first or second? It's going to be Shank. This is a 3-wood. This is a sniper. This is short. It looked gorgeous. The line was absolutely fantastic. But this is a chance for Scott Booyer to get a stroke back. Bird under the tree. Does it get to the green? No, sir. No, sir. That does not make it from that far in the fairway. Lob wedge, Jav. Oh, so close. A beautiful effort from Booyer. Here is Shank. Just gets it onto the fringe, and that will be an easy putt. A birdie here on the par 5 fifth hole. So 2 birdies, a 2-stroke lead still for Will, and he will have honors. Here is Shankopotamus. This is another drivable par 4. Maniacs over the treetops. Lands on the green softly, as the Maniacs will do, and kind of floats on down towards the hole. So easy shot here on 6. You see Booyer also clear that canopy, and that will be a more aggressive line. That's an easy putt for Scott Booyer. There's Shankopotamus. He's good. And obviously, Scott will make his eagle putt. So still trails by 2. Who will join Fly Rye, the coolest Canadian I know, or Phil Rumley in the World Championship? Those two have qualified via match play, Tusky Week 1. And, of course, Rumley conjured up every dead hiker and climber of Mount Everest. Their souls were attached to his Maniacs on Tundra Peak 18 as it somehow stayed on the green, and it knocked Mr. Bond out of the tournament as Phil Rumley made his first World Championship. Can't wait to see Phil compete in Worlds. Phil could absolutely win one of these. Par 3 is out of the way on hole 7. Both players birdied on the long par 4. And now we have a challenging hole. I'm going to predict one player does not eagle this hole, and we only get one eagle. One eagle, one birdie. That's the guess. I have not watched. I never will. Here is Mr. Davis. Going to throw this torpedo all the way around. Took a lot of length, a lot of distance off that club by putting that big, huge hook on it. But he will have a chip. Here is Booyer. Also will have a chipper opportunity. Here is Shankopotamus, and he's good. A beauty. I think both players are going to eagle, and they do. So 2 threes on the card on hole number 8. Shankopotamus maintains a 2-stroke advantage over Scott Booyer. That is a very deep shot. That is not one of the better efforts I've seen out of Shankopotamus. That's going to be a difficult putt. Here is Booyer. Tries to put a little bit of nasty slurve on this one, and that's just going to bound away to the right as well. That is not an easy tee shot. Shankopotamus, 83 feet, left 6. Bang! What a putt for Shankopotamus. Had to feel like a hole out as Booyer will match, but what a bomb thrown in by Shankopotamus. A 2-stroke lead for the former world qualifier. Has competed in several world championships, trying to show up for the 2026 World Championship in the Chicago area. We're on to the back 9. Things are about ready to get spicy. A hole out on number 1 for Shankopotamus, and a mistake on hole 2 for Mr. Booyer. And those are the strokes that have made up this difference. 2-stroke lead for Shankopotamus. Here is Booyer. Slides that to the right, and it will fall harmlessly under the hole. Easy putt. He's in for his bird, and Shankopotamus is going to knock his in as well. And we're going to move on to the par 3 11th. Can't wait to see everybody out in Chicago for the World Championship. The Windy City Showdown 5, along with the Golden T-Mobile World Championship. Not a better way to spend a July weekend than with your friends trying to compete for thousands of dollars, playing something you love. Sign me up right now. That is not a great shot, but it's fine. Booyer will have a left 6, and he makes it. Well done, Scott. And we're going to move on to hole number 12. Shankopotamus has been a fierce competitor since this game has come alive, essentially. Remember playing him in the Silver Division, Season 2 of Golden T-Mobile, the league. And he was just as fierce back then as he is now. Has only gotten better. Scott Booyer a little newer onto the scene than Shankopotamus, but has been around for quite a while. Took a little break from the game. But he is back with a vengeance, as you see in the championship match here in week 3. Both players playing this long par 5 12th hole. Scott's got a chance to run this up into the fringe and have a little better chip than what Shankopotamus will have. And he does indeed. That's a good look. That is a good look. A chance for eagle. Here's Shankopotamus. That's going to go past into the fringe, maybe even that light rough. A chance for Booyer to get a stroke back on the way, and he left it left. Just didn't put enough on it. Grabbed that left 6. Here's Shankopotamus with a ranger, and he knocks in. So 2 birdies on hole number 12, and we've only got 6 holes to play. Unless these players are tied after 18, which they very well might be, you never know, we'll go to sudden death on the back 9. The first player to outright win a hole on the back 9 is your week 3 qualifier. Seeing 2 different ways to lay up. Scott clearly is either going to fire a sniper at this or a high-lofted javelin and let it run down. There's no in between. It is a 3-iron sniper. Gutsy play on its way. What a shot from Scott Booyer. He will get a stroke back. That was a very gutsy play. Plays the win. He tried for a straight win. Got it. Let that right green put it into the cup. Here is Shankopotamus. He will miss. And the lead is suddenly down to 1. We are tightening up here on the back 9 of Woodland Farm. I would say this is easily the hardest course in the entire mobile catalog. Here is Booyer. Just tries to find a safe spot for his drive. That's going to go back towards the water. And it will come to rest safely. Now here is Shankopotamus. He is going to play the percentages. Just wants to land this into the bottom of this fairway. Will roll down some with that sniper, but safely comes to a stop. He will go first, a pitching wedge. And he will loft this up, not quite get it there. Did not want to contend with that sand in the back. Gladly will take a birdie. Can Booyer get another one here? No, he does not. So that will be a birdie. Scott's probably very, very fortunate that that ball did not bounce into the water. The Maniacs over the treetops almost turned into disaster. Hole 15, par 4. Scott off the tee with a driver, Maniacs. That will be fine. This is a very difficult hole. This is just a simple par 4 that is absolutely a nightmare for a lot of people. Chad Shrump included, mostly Chad Shrump probably. This is not an easy hole. This plays like you're hitting on top of Tundra 18. And the green slopes drastically to the right. Shankopotamus puts a nice shot onto the green. This is a very nice pin for these players. Scott will take a little off this. We'll throw a sniper in. Both players played very safely. Just want to be on this green, get your putt, and get the hell out of town. That's all you're trying to do on 15 is get that birdie and get moving. Now we come to the teeth of this maniacal course. Hole 16, par 5. That needs to run. And it, oh, goodness gracious, did he come close to finding water again. That should be a ranger, and it should not be a big deal. Now, that's going to get caught up in the tree leaves. I want to say canopy again, but I don't know why I'm using that word so often in 2026. But alas, here we are. Shankopotamus does the smart thing. We'll put it into the fairway, and it's going to play for a birdie or a sniper chip in. Scott has a chance to get this onto the green. 6 Wood Maniacs, up and away. I think that will hit the green and bounce into the rough. It will. He will have an option of a ranger putt or a chip. Here is Shank, and he just misses that to the right. Almost eagle from the fairway. Ranger for Booyer. He's in, and that's an eagle, and we are tied going into 17. Let's see what 17 looks like. Scott has chipped away and kept chipping away, trying to push this to extras, or just went outright. He is safely on to the dance floor on 17. A huge win, 13 miles per hour left to right, plus hurting a bit. This will fall to the right. A very similar shot. Both players with birdie putts they should make. That's a right 10. Dead end, still scary. I don't care who you are. Because if you miss, it's game over. That ball does not stop. And if it does stop, even worse because you can't get back onto the green. But I digress. Onwards, 18, Woodland Farm. Here is Booyer, and he's a little deep, and that's a tricky putt with a lot of pressure. Shankopotamus, 320 driver, takes a little off sniper, straight down the hill. That is an easy putt. Scott with a left 10 to put it in extras, and he does. A beauty from Scott Booyer. Shankopotamus makes his eagle, and we are going to do hole 10 all over again. This is our first sudden death match of 2026. First player to hole out, and the other player does not. You just have to win a hole outright. I don't care if one guy gets a 7, the other guy gets an 8. The guy with the 7 will move on. And with Woodland Farm, you never know. Somebody might win a hole with a 7. Doubtful, but you know what I'm getting at. Here we go, hole 10. Both players off the tee and safely. Although you do have that overhanging branches that could be in the way. A 2-iron sniper. That looks clean, and it's deep. Scott with a chance to win it here. 2-iron sniper. It looks pure, and it's just a little bit too far. Almost GSP. Yes, GSP. 6,100 points for Scott Booyer. Shankopotamus, when we return from watching this replay, will have a putt or chip from that light rough. It will be a Ranger, and it is good. So good putt from Scott Booyer here, and Shankopotamus a moment ago from the rough. And we move on to the hole, par 3, hole 11. Here is Shankopotamus. Ooh, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like. If he's got a lip to contend with there, that could be concerning. Here's Scott with an orbit. Let this thing bounce and bound and down, and it finally lands onto the green. Chipper. Oh, it takes it. It takes it. That was also some sorcery from Shankopotamus. What are we seeing the last 2 weeks that just sneaks in? Here's Shankopotamus again. Finds that little gap between the trees. 3-wood maniac safely into the fairway. But again, you have a hurting wind. It's going to be very difficult to get up into a chipping area unless you hit a brilliant tee shot. Scott, here he goes with a torpedo, and that is nicely done, but that still has a long way to go. Shankopotamus will just hit a javelin, setting himself up for a fairway 3-iron sniper. Oh, that goes all the way into the first cut. Don't know if he was planning that or not. Scott's going to try to just drive this as far as he can off the deck, and he will also have a chip at it. Is this the hole where we crown a week 3 winner? 3-iron sniper. Shankopotamus just misses to the left. Here's Scott's chance. A chipper jab, and he rolls it past. These are good efforts. Here's the Ranger right 7, and I guarantee you that Scott was worried about. Oh my gosh, look at that, just barely go again. Shank, you're living right. Shankopotamus living on the right side of it right now. Going for the sand trap, or is he going just left of it? Okay. Scott's going to go straight into the trap and use his sand wedge math, maybe? Nope, that's going to stop. So we have 2 chips. Here is Shank. Oh, my goodness. Just misses to the right. Can Booyer win it here? Chipper, sniper. No, sir. It does not go. And we're going to move to hole 14. Both players probably surprised that they did not make hole 13. They had great looks at it. Will it come down to 14? This time, Shankopotamus will leave this in the very top of the fairway. And we'll have a traditional shot into the green. Booyer this time going with a 5-wood sniper, and he's going to try to plant this. Where exactly? Oh, right in front of an oak tree. Perfect. Here is Shankopotamus, 2-iron sniper. That is to the right, but it is safe, and that will be a birdie. What does Mr. Booyer have? Sniper on the way! That's going to do it! Scott Booyer with a beauty. And that's an eagle on hole 14. And it doesn't get much better than that. Here's a cleanup for Shankopotamus. He's going to find out that he lost the match. But man, what an effort by both players. Shankopotamus will be back. Scott Booyer, Mr. Booyer, has done it. Clawed back from 2 down, and he is your Week 3 Grand Finals champion.